Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm Joe Long, and I want to welcome you all here. As you know, the purpose of this meeting is for past and future minority scholarship recipients to be able to meet some of their fellow recipients and learn a little bit from previous recipients. And today we're going to talk about some of their struggles, some of their wins, what may have been different than they expected getting into real estate. And so on and so forth. I'm Joe Long. I've been a member of the EOHC committee for a really long time, longer than I can remember. And it's been a joy to see a lot of these people interview and succeed in the business. A little bit of housekeeping. Please keep yourself on mute if you're not a panelist. And please send any of your questions that you have through the chat box. And we will get those answered as we go along and reach natural breaks here in the presentation. So without further ado, I will have each of these panels introduce themselves. Musa, why don't you go ahead and tell us about yourself, who you work with, and how you got into the business.
Hello, good morning. My name is Musa Jallo. I am with Resteno and Associates. And I've been in the business now for 5 years. And I got into the business through actually a colleague now, with whom I was working with another company. I went to do cable. I was working with a cable company. So I wanted to get into real estate, but I don't know where to start at all. So I went there and she told me about real estate, like she does real estate and all of that. So she introduced me to one of our brokers now, and that's how I get into real estate.
Okay, and Allie, tell us about yourself and how you got into real estate.
My name is Allie Fiegel. I'm with Realty Executives Cooper Spransey in Fitchburg. And let's see, I've been in the business for 5 years now. Took a little break for like a year and a half and then got back in. So that's my story. And prior to real estate, I was a dance teacher. And one of my students, like an adult student, was married to a realtor, and I was out teaching, and she kind of got me hooked up with Cooper Spransey. So that's how I got started.
And Maurice, tell us about yourself.
I'm Maurice Taylor. I've been in the business since 2014, so about 6 years. Before I was in real estate, I was a supply chain manager with Walmart Distribution. And I got into real estate. I wanted to do it for a while. It was something that I thought I could do. And I eventually just purchased a class and took the test and got licensed. And then I walked into First Weber, and I've just been with them ever since, pretty much.
Right on. So we've had the pleasure of knowing all of these panelists for a long time, and they're not only wonderful people, but they're gems and standouts in the association. How a realtor should be and do business. And so we appreciate you all being with us. The first kind of question that I have is more looking for a story. So does anybody have any crazy real estate stories that they want to tell us about their business so far? Anybody can go ahead and take this one.
I should have thought about this question more. I don't know. my real estate career is kind of boring, but I guess like one time I had the key to the house, and okay, I guess like I usually just leave the key in the door so I don't like forget it anywhere, but this time I didn't, and I was carrying it around with me, and we were out in the backyard, and I dropped the key, and it fell, like out of all places, it fell. There was a deck, and it fell in between the like boards, and so I lost the key. That's not really that crazy, but I felt like someone should say something.
Musa, you have kind of a, so was that your listing or was that a showing that you were on?
A showing.
Oh my, so you had to call the agent and say, hey, another key, and do that whole.
I don't know what happened to it, but
I feel like
hopefully-
maybe that's a thing that you only do once in
yeah, I have only done that once, so hopefully it doesn't happen again.
Musa, we were joking around before this about a kind of a funny story. You want to tell that one at all?
Yeah, sure. So I went to an open house and with my client, and Jolong was there with hosting the open house with another agent. And then, well, my client did not end up buying the house. But then, to my surprise, Joe is like, "Oh, this is my house now." So Joe ended up buying that house.
That was the ultimate sales technique on behalf of that agent. I thought I was just coming along for the ride, and I ended up writing an offer. It was pretty slick. Okay, so I guess the next question is, how do you all market yourselves? Besides your brokerage, besides the resources that they provide, what have you had success to market yourselves, real estate agents?
I'll take this one, Joe. I would say the first thing for me is I did a lot of open houses. We've talked about that a couple of times. The open house always works. It's an opportunity that you'll get from probably a more successful agent. And when the general public come in, they don't necessarily know that's not your listing. I mean, they don't know the real estate business probably as well as an agent would know. So an open house always works. Just listed, just sold cards. If you can do those, usually you can spend about $50 and do that sort of thing. And if you work for a larger company, they'll have a couple of opportunities that'll probably be there to put your face in an ad or something like that. Take advantage of that. It costs relatively little money, but has big effect because it goes to thinking a couple of thousand publications. People see you, especially in the Dane County area. Madison is sort of small, even though it has 250,000 people. So, I mean, the realtor community is sort of small. So a lot of people know each other. So that's just a couple of ways to put your name in a couple of ads with more successful agents. Way to get your name out there. It's helped me anyway.
And Mo, in previous, you have talked a lot about spending actual time in your office and getting to know other real estate agents. So that you set up. You've mentioned in the past covering business for them as a learning opportunity when they will go on vacations or things like that. What's a house tactic you use, a specific tactic? And can you expound a little bit about building interpersonal relationships in your own office?
So pre-COVID and hopefully post-COVID, I would always say you need to hang around the office and let the agents actually see you in the office so that, they may trust you with an opportunity to host a $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 home where you could possibly pick up a buyer or earn some business in the area. You know what I mean? But, calling the more successful agents, letting them see you actually work the business, especially if they've been in this business like 10, 15, 20 years, they actually care about the real estate business. So they sort of want to see you being a good steward over the business, So, hanging around the office, talking to the broker, if you get in a jam, calling another broker to ask for advice, sort of shows them humility and it'll help you earn a little money along the way because they're going to give an opportunity or something's going to fall from what they said you're going to pick up on, and it's going to be like, oh, okay, whether they just giving advice or they just speaking generalist, or they give you, like I said, an open house opportunity, or, you able to get on a team or something like that. You're going to pick up something from a more experienced agent that's going to probably turn into some sort of, financial benefit.
Okay, Musa, you don't like open houses.
No.
What do you do besides open houses, since they are not a part of your business plan, and how have you had success marketing yourself beyond your brokerage?
So like Maurice said, open houses worked for a lot of new agents. When I get into the business, I was introduced to to open houses, to host open houses, and I hosted a lot of them. But I believe that you can take people advice, yes, but you have to do what works for you, because it might not work for everyone else. So before wasting much time, if you did it for like few months and know that this is not working for you, go to plan B. And that's what I did. So I hosted a lot of open houses. It was just never for me. So I started doing door knocking, and I had success on door knocking, obviously before COVID. So door knocking works for me. I picked up maybe 3 or 4 buyers and sellers doing door knocking. That works for me perfectly. And the other thing is to market yourself first. It will start with your community, start with your family and friends. You know, in my religion, it says that if you want to know how good the man is, go and ask the wife. So obviously come back to your community, which is your family, and tell them what you do, because those people know you. If anything, they will work with you first. That's how you're going to build your resume starting business. As far as beyond my brokerage, because again, targeting my community, you know, I am from Africa, I am from Gambia. I printed a lot of t-shirts and send them all the way to Africa, and give it to people that are very active in the community. They wear it, and people all over the world are seeing that they are wearing my brand. So obviously that's eye-catching. I'm still targeting the people here, and it worked for me as well. So, I mean, you can do a lot of things that work for you. It might not work for someone else, but it might work for you.
Right on. Allie, do you have anything you want to add to that question, how to market yourself and be on your brokerage?
Yeah, I think kind of going off of what both these guys said is like finding something that works for you, and you might have to tweak that like along the way. So I also started with open houses, and yeah, I did like 1 or 2 every single weekend. I kind of got burnt out by them now, so I don't, well, and it's COVID time, so we haven't done one in a long time. But that was a really good way for me to kind of, you know, like Maurice was saying, like these people coming into the open house most of the time don't know that I'm a new agent and I have no idea what I'm doing yet. So it was a good way to kind of like capture people that think I'm an established agent. So, and then I was like calling like cold leads. I don't even know where I got these lists of people from. You know, I was networking with a lot of other agents in my office, and they like gave me a list of leads to call, which was very sweet to help me get started. And I realized that wasn't for me either. I did try door knocking too, and that was not my specialty. So over time, I kind of like, with the help of a business coach as well, I like narrowed down my plan to 3 pillars, and I probably should have reviewed them because I don't even remember what they're called. But we have like our chase pillar. So what are we doing to like actively chase business? So that was like open houses, and now we're kind of doing some like online leads on social media. And then we have our attraction pillar. So that's like our community, like Musa was saying, like people that know, love, and trust us already. How are we building that connection and just kind of gently reminding people that we're in real estate? And then the third pillar is kind of, we made it up, but it's like our customer service pillar. So how are we really doing an exceptional job with our clients that we're working with? So, you know, a lot of this stuff like takes a little bit of time to build. So that's where like having that chase pillar was super important for us, you know, when we first started as well. And that was like the open houses and phone calls or door knocking or whatever is specific to you. So I kind of lost my train of thought, but I think narrowing it down to like 3 main things, because there's just a million things that you could do as a new agent to try to market yourself and get business. And sometimes, you know, if you're just taking on too many things, it's like you're not really excelling in a couple main areas, if that makes sense.
Makes total sense.
Narrowing it down really helped us.
I also love that you're not just worried about getting the business, you're worried about how do I take care of it when it comes in the door. And then you're worried about, after I take care of those people, how do I turn those opportunities into additional business? So if you were going to coach everybody on the call about those three pillars without them paying money for a coach or going through a class, just kind of, quickly, would you say, draw these 3 bullet points and then bullet point under each one of those 3 things that you can do that you can implement now easily, cheaply, and stick to? Or how would you coach the people on the call about those 3 pillars?
Yeah, I would say you definitely need a chase and an attraction. And I can't remember what like the original third one was, but we just kind of made up our customer service. So if that works for you, great. And then I think narrowing down, and you kind of have to do a trial and error, like I did the door knocking, and that I was just so awkward. So, instead of trying to fit myself in a box of what other people said I should be doing, just try some things and know, by this time, like a couple months from now, I'm going to try this and see how it works. And if it doesn't work, then I'm switching to plan B. And like things that you actually enjoy doing, because I think that's what we're really lucky to be able to do, as real estate agents and owning our own business and building it, is we can build it like however we want and whatever is true to us. So for me, it's like, I really enjoy writing. And so some of my attraction pillar is I send out a monthly letter of the heart, to everyone in my sphere. And, some people hate doing that, and they don't have to do that. So that's fine. But I hate doing phone calls. I hate awkwardly calling people. So it's not in my chase pillar. And I've just been able to find, things that I actually enjoy doing that aren't going to burn me out, but actually like motivate me and inspire me. Does that help?
Super helpful. And again, I think pragmatically, once you have done a deal for somebody, if you can keep them in your database and you can nurture that person, that turns into more business. And that's how your amount of business that you do grows more and more every single year. And it can't be understated, the importance of looking at those people as an opportunity, and then finding ways to deepen those relationships. So I think that's a super, super valuable insight. And I really appreciate that. Somewhat along those lines, and then shifting gears a little bit, I want to talk about how to generate leads without spending a fortune. So a lot of, I think, agents think that they need to buy leads, and I'm not knocking buying leads, but over time, as you develop your style, there are ways to generate leads without spending a fortune. And I'm just wondering what each of you has as far as insight on how to do that.
Well, you have to let people know you're a realtor. I mean, in, dinner parties, meetings with family, like Allie mentioned, you need to find a way to gently ease the conversation of real estate into, any social gathering. People got to know. You're definitely going to need a business Facebook page, no doubt about it. Again, open houses, they're free. Usually you might have to spend some money buying refreshments and stuff like that. But we're talking about generating leads. When people come to an open house, they're either looking for a house or maybe interviewing an agent to sell a house that they need to sell or something like that. So that always works. You can ask your broker for leads. Again, and you can always hang around like more experienced agents that may have a lead that they can't quite work anymore and stuff like that. You have to let them know that you're serious about this business, and that if they have anything that you can do, you do that. So that's generally stuff you can do without spending money.
Mo, you talked about talking to people about real estate, right? I call that being a secret agent. Nobody knows how good of an agent you are, or if you're in real estate, if they don't know that you're in real estate. But it's also important not to blow people over the head with it, right? We don't want to say, hey, who do you know that wants to buy a house? Hey, who do you know that wants to buy a house? So how do you shift a conversation casually? How do you use Jedi mind tricks to pick up real estate in a conversation without just kind of, throwing it out there? Hey, I'm in real estate. You want to buy a house?
So, most real estate agents are going to be, I guess the more successful, they're always going to be sort of a put together person. You're going to look nice in public, carry yourself a certain way. Your car may be clean or something like that. Someone's going to ask what you do for a living, and then that's your opportunity. Or somebody may be that someone that's in that setting may say, oh, Maurice is a broker, or Allie's a broker, Moosa's a broker, you know what I mean, or an agent or something like that. And then people are going to generally ask, how's the real estate market? And then as a newer agent, you just go and regurgitate whatever you heard in the office to them. They're not going to know that you didn't know this. I mean, they're just not going to know. It's the general public, so they're not actually doing this every day. They just hear what happens on TV or see what's on Zillow. They're not like really in the intimate details of what's going on in MLS or Dane County or Madison. They're just hearing a general overall view. So then you can answer those questions by usually regurgitating what you heard in your office or in those little settings. Makes you look smart. And then you get if you ever need anything, just give me a call, you know what I mean? Or you got some cards to pass out, or your face on a professional looking brochure that you can just hand out, and that's the way that looks, make people think that they could possibly trust you with selling a $400,000 home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the fear can certainly be paralyzing. I think a lot of times we get in our own heads and we assume maybe as newer agents that this person can tell I'm newer. This person thinks I'm newer. They know that I don't have a ton of experience, but they don't know. That's a thing we do to ourselves. But the public, to your point, doesn't know. I think a lot of people can get kind of caught up and self-defeated that way. But as long as you, like you said, have that branding and have some knowledgeable talking points, people don't know that.
Now, of course, I'll just say this, a more experienced agent, especially a bigger agent that's got big market share in the area, I mean, they're going to beat you on this because they're going to know, you know what I mean? They're going to be more experienced on this. But there's enough business around that you're going to get some eventually from those little means.
Moosa,
Yes.
the $1 million smile. When you're door knocking, what are you saying to people to generate business?
When I used to door knock, I go and say, my name is Musa. I live in the area. I do real estate. I know this area very well. You let them know that you are the agent for them. I mean, I would start by saying, you live in the area, you have to know the area. This is the cheapest way to market yourself in the area. You have access to the MLS, go online, see what houses are on the market, make an appointment, go look at them, see how much they are selling for, how much they sold for, see if there was a competing offers. You have to know where you live. You have to know the area before you can tell, because the moment you start talking about real estate, people will have tons of questions. People will have a lot of questions. So you have to know something about the area. Know the school, what school district is in the area. I mean, you just know as much as you can. And the other thing is to, the easiest way, like the question you asked, it's all about perception, like Maurice said. Dress well. You cannot go wrong dressing well. Well dressed, go out and go chase the success. The moment people see you dressing good, they are curious to know what you do. So people will always ask, I mean, what do you do? And the other thing is to start with your neighborhood. Start door knocking in your neighborhood. One of the things that's gonna hurt is that your next door neighbor you see a sign going in your next door neighbor, and you are like, I wish I told them I was a real estate agent. That hurts. It hurts to the bone. So don't allow that to happen. Go in your neighborhood. I used to do door knocking all weekend. I mean, I don't even count. I lost count of how many homes I door knocked. Sometimes you go, they say, oh, get away. You just turn around and go to the next one. You will get those. I mean, you have to get used to it if you want to be successful. There's gonna be a lot of bumps. You just have to know how to get over those bumps on the way.
So what I'm hearing is you're branding yourself as a local expert. So you've done the research in the first place so that when people ask you the question, you have an intelligent way to answer it regarding the neighborhood. And because of that, you quickly build trust with that person. And then you're establishing yourself with that person over time because they're seeing you over and over and over again, and they know that you know what you're talking about. And then both of you have mentioned creating opportunities with appearance for people to ask you about what you do. So whether it's how you're dressed or how your car looks, you could do this in a lot of ways, right? With logos or based on the kind of places that you are. But if you can give an era of what people want to ask you about what you do, then you can lead into real estate, and it's not you clubbing them with it, it's them asking you about it. And that's it. That's like a little bit of an art, but once you get it, it's probably very helpful. Is that?
Yes, absolutely.
Appearance matters in this industry, no doubt about it. You know, bankers, lenders, I mean, you know, inspectors, they're gonna expect you, and definitely homeowners, buyers. I mean, nobody's gonna let you sell their $500,000 house if you know your hair's disheveled and you got BO. It's just not gonna happen, man. You know, it's got to be professional. They're gonna have to see you as a, you know, a professional real estate agent.
Right on. Okay, Allie, you have a pretty good social media presence. I've seen you win like a local award for that, and I see your videos, so I know you're doing a good job because it's getting pushed into my feed. That's not free, but it's kind of free. You're investing a lot of your time to do that. Can you talk through that a little bit? Your thought process behind that, the amount of time you spend in it, if you have a system for it, stuff like that.
Yeah, so social media is the main way that we market ourselves. I work with my husband. We're a team. And yeah, it's kind of evolved from, which is really weird, me talking all about real estate, and that's all I did on my Facebook business page, to just kind of feeling burnt out by that. And like, I'm sick of talking about real estate all the time. And so it kind of merged into blending our real estate team and our marriage team and our family into everything that we do on social media. So a lot of times I'm like, what am I doing? Like posting this stuff about my marriage, or like today I made a post about how I'm taking the day off, and that's not related to real estate at all. But I think that showing up authentically and just being very real and transparent about our lives has really invited our community to like want to be a part of that story, I guess. So that's kind of our mindset, I guess, around our social media presence. And that took a while. So yeah, we're still always like, okay, how can we switch things up? I'm bored or whatever. So we have a business page on Facebook, and my husband and I have like Instagram pages that are personal, but we also post business stuff on there. We haven't really ventured into TikTok. I don't know if I'll do that, but yeah, for us, I think like with our age, it's just like all of our friends are on social media. All of our, you know, a lot of people that we work with are on social media, so it just made sense. So yeah, I guess like what I do, we post every day, Monday through Friday, and sometimes on the weekends. It's important to us to not post like multiple things a day that are just like sharing an article or boring stuff. It's important that it's like well crafted content. So that does take a little bit of extra time. So what I do is just on Mondays, I get out my calendar and I write out like what I'm going to post every day that week, and then I schedule it out. And that helps because like I just feel like all my work that I put in on Monday is working for me when I see those posts automatically generate throughout the week, and I don't have to think about it. So that's been very helpful. Yeah. And then on Instagram, it's, I don't know, it's kind of just like my diary, which is just really embarrassing and awkward to think about, but it works. I don't know. People like and follow, and our community's like, oh, it's amazing when I run into someone and they're like, oh, how's, you know, they know everything about what's going on. Phoebe's walking, your daughter's walking. Oh, how's your cat? Oh, you guys bought a new whatever. So people are watching, and it's just like a free platform with a huge audience. So yeah. And
Certainly.
we've done videos too. Yeah, we used to do like a vlog. We used to do weekly live videos, and that took a very long time for us to feel comfortable in front of the camera, but just do it. Like, it's just pretend like you're talking to a friend, I guess, because it's paid off.
Yeah, now you one take them.
What?
Now you one take them. You're
Yes.
not.
Yeah.
So I'm the same way. The first time I started doing video, I thought it had to be perfect, and I shot it like 15 different times, and I played with the angles, you know, and after a while I realized none of this matters. The message is what matters, and the vulnerability has a lot of value. And when people see that you have flaws and people see you make mistakes, it endears them to you. And I want to ask, has the vulnerability, being so open, has that ever hurt you? Do you think it's ever cost you a business opportunity? Do you think anybody's ever not done business with you because of how vulnerable you are?
I don't know. Maybe if someone isn't vibing with that. But we get 95% of our business comes in from Facebook message or Instagram message. So what we're doing is working for us. And I think there's a lot of people talking about how great they are, how many houses they sold, whatever, which you do need some of that evidence of success. But I think balancing it with like, hey, I had a hard day, or like, we're working on this in our life, we're working on balance, and, you know, taking a day off and whatever, that just shows people that you're real and they can connect with that. So, I mean, maybe it has, but the amount of people that reach out to us on social media is like, I mean, that's just a majority of our business. So
yeah, overwhelmingly positive. And people probably, they're not going to say, hey, I didn't do business with you, and here's why. I didn't like that post about your cat. So I guess that's a really incredible segue. You have social media posts, it's generating business, you're getting messages. What now? Because a social media post isn't a, hey, we've got this deal for a limited time only, this is a sale only through Sunday. It's all branding. And so the branding works and it works and it works and it works. And then somebody realizes they have a real estate need. And at that moment, if you're the top person in their brain, they sent Allie a message. So that happened. They sent you a message. What now? How fast do you get back to them? What do you say? How do you get them into the funnel? What's that process look like?
Okay. So yeah, I mean, we try to respond as soon as possible. So ideally right then and there. So, and most of the time they're also our friends too. So, you know, we're not like totally stressed out about if we're doing something else, whatever. But yeah, we try to get back to them as soon as possible. And then, there's not necessarily, I think what I used to do is try to have like this perfect script that I said with everyone, and I would practice these scripts or just like have everything like written out. And I found that like that doesn't work every time because not everyone is in the same situation. So I don't have a script. I'm just real. And I say, great, like, let's talk a little bit more. What are you looking for? What are your goals? So then, and this is super important. And I think also I saw a question, so sorry if I'm like segueing into something different, but it was like about how you follow up with leads after an open house. So I'll just talk about what we do when we have a lead come in. The follow-up is extremely, extremely important. And, you know, everyone needs a CRM, which, what does that even stand for? Client relations manager?
Client retention management, client relation management, something like that. Yeah.
I don't know. Like a paid for CRM never worked for me. I don't know. So right now I have a spreadsheet because I love spreadsheets. And basically I just make sure that we have a specific plan for, okay, what now? How are we continuing to nurture this relationship? So if they come in through Facebook or whatever, hey, I need to buy my house. Great. The next thing we do is send them a questionnaire on Google Forms, which has been extremely helpful for us because then we have everything in one place so it's not disorganized. So I would highly, that's like completely changed our business, is to have that Google Forms buyer questionnaire, just getting to know what they're looking for. And then we set up a buyer consultation with them, and that's been extremely helpful. So I'd highly recommend, if you're not doing a buyer consultation, to make sure you take that step, because it establishes you as a professional. It educates them on the process and helps you get to know them better as well. If they're listing, we have a listing questionnaire that we send them, and then we schedule the listing consultation. From there, we have a ton of different steps of how we add them to our database, make sure they're getting our monthly letters, make sure they're on our email newsletter, make sure they're on our client gift list, all this stuff that we go through. So I don't need to go into detail on that, but just make sure that you have a system for how you're following up with these people, and you know what your plan of attack is, I guess.
Yeah, so it's a system, but it's not cold. So I think what I'm hearing is everybody goes through a step, and there's a lot of those steps, right? So you're making sure that you're nurturing that lead. It's not, they didn't do a piece of business with you immediately, and so you let it fizzle. It goes into the database, it gets worked, it goes through a system. And even though that's a system, that's not an impersonal system. It's filled with personal touches. And so that person feels like they're in a relationship with you all the way up until you do business.
Yeah, and I also add them on social media so that I can like and comment, and so they're always thinking of me. Even if I feel a little weird doing it, it's, I don't know. There are certain people that maybe you shouldn't, you know, and you'll get that vibe, but there are people that I'm just going to add them and comment and stalk them a little bit.
Right on. Okay, so shifting gears a little bit, I kind of want to know, actually, I'm sorry, Laura, you had a question. For those of you doing open houses, how are you purposeful about potential clients? So Ellie, you touched on that a little bit, but Mo, let's talk about that a little bit. When you have an open house client and they sign in, you develop a good relationship with them, how do you nurture that business?
Call, email. When they come into the open house, I'll have like a little sheet that I created that says, you know, open house sheet, or whatever your company open house sheet. It has, you know, it has name, email address, phone number. They can fill out whatever they like. And then I'll make the call back and just say, hey, you came into the open house. Whether it's I call back the next day, you sort of have a feel for it, or you email them that night. And you sort of get a, you know, when they come into the open house, you get a feel if you're able to ask, after they've looked around, you're able to ask a couple of probing sort of questions. What's bringing you out? Or do you have a house to sell? Are you looking to move and stuff like that? And if they leave the info, you can call them back and say, hey, you know, you had a house to sell. I can do a free market analysis or something like that. Let you know what the property is worth. It don't cost you nothing. And if, you know, I can get you a private showing on anything, you know, in town. You know, again, one thing we know as realtors that the public don't know is that, you know, if you're a member of the MLS, you can get into any house in town, a private showing. So you let those clients know that I can get you a private showing on anything, anytime. And, you know, you just do just a follow-up. Call here, email there, call back later on this week. And if they have a question for you and you don't have the answer, you like, let me just get the answer and I'll reach back out to you. Would Thursday be good, or whenever, you know, just, or shoot them a text, you know, with today's technology, you can text them. You know, a lot of millennials like text, like email. Maybe some of the interpersonal connection is more for like, you know, baby boomers, seniors and stuff like that. But it just, you want to let them know that you're a professional realtor. I mean, like you actually you gotta be one, play the part, you know what I mean? When they come into the house, you gotta be one.
And you said you're reaching out to these people to give them something that they want. So you're not calling them and saying, I'd like to do this, I'd like to do this. You're saying, would you like to go see any properties? Would you like an analysis? And so your approach to that is, I'm giving you something of value. And so you're using that as a way to continue building the relationship.
I mean, if you're a real estate agent, they gotta like you. You know what I mean? If people are gonna either be using you to sell their home, or they're allowing you to help them buy a home, there's a big transfer of money on one end or the other. So, people sort of like doing business with people they like, you know what I mean? When it's that sort of, money on the line, you know what I mean? We do this regularly, but they only do this a couple of times in their life unless they're like a savvy investor or somebody who's wealthy that's, doing real estate transactions all the time, and then, in that case, they have an access to a number of realtors, but the regular, 1 to 4 unit dwelling consumer, you want to slam dunk them home when you do call them and just let them know that I can do this. I'm available to do this, and, answer the questions for them. They got to like you, no doubt about it.
Right on. So I would like to know about some misconceptions that you all had about the business. So we ask this question when everybody interviews for their scholarship. Everybody's kind of answers, yeah, I think I know it's going to be tough. I think I know the money's going to be slow. And we always kind of wonder if people really know. What are the what's like a big misconception that each of you had about the business getting into it? And then what's one of the biggest surprises? So what did you not think would be a reality at all? And what did you think would be a reality and it wasn't a reality? Musa, why don't you take that one first?
All right. So when I started the business, coming into real estate, I was so used to obviously the hourly job. So I thought real estate, I was gonna get paid hourly. That's what I thought until they put reality in me, and that kind of scared me. I'm like, whoa. So I have to sell to make money. So when that kicked in, I know that I have to get up from my office and go find business. And again, I would have never dreamed of that, I will be able to have so many clients and get them like houses. It was just, I didn't think I was able to at first. Obviously, I believe in me, but the fact that where you start today, looking at top agents in your company, and you are like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna get there, but I'm gonna try. So once you have that in you, I think you'll be able to get there.
Okay, and then what about the biggest surprise? Like what's something that you enjoy or love or hate or thought would be different about the business?
So I don't know if I hate anything about it. Well, when you start, things are slow, and then you are like, I want to get busy. But then when you get busy, you don't have time anymore. So sometimes I forget to eat all day. Seriously, sometimes I forget to eat, and then I'm so hungry. So some of these things are something that I don't like about the business that much. But other than that, there is not a lot of things that I don't like. I mean, when you get people the home that they love, the smile they have on their face, I can do that all day, all night, So that is something that every time we go to the closing table, the smile on their face when when they hand over the keys, and those are just moments that are priceless for me,
That's awesome. Allie, what about you?
I think for me, I was in denial of a couple things when I started. One was like how long it was going to take me to make money. And so people told me like, oh, make sure you save up money, before you jump in, and like have a safety net. And I was like, oh, I don't really need one. I'll be fine. I wasn't fine. And I, went into a lot of debt when I first started. And I was literally eating like crackers from the gas station for every meal. And it was extremely difficult. But I made it through. So I guess that's like a surprise too. Like, I can't believe that I made it through that time. And I kept going in this crazy business, even when things were just like so horrible. So yeah, that's a little snippet of my story, I guess. The second thing that was a surprise was like how stressful it was when I first started. Um, like literally, I didn't even know that there was an inspection process. Like when I first was going through my first deal, like I don't know how that's possible to not know that. But like I did not know that. And so I did not know this much stress could exist in a person when I first started. I just remember like going home from the office and like collapsing on the floor and crying. Um, and so I can't believe I made it through that time. So like if you're going through that, like it gets so much better. It gets so much better. And I just want to like encourage you that like if you are struggling financially and if you are eating crackers for every meal and like I don't know, feel like you're getting like wrinkles by the day from all the stress, like it gets better. It's not always going to be like that. And so I think like the surprise, like the happy surprise now is like, I can't believe that I get to be creative in how I want to build my business. I get to meet so many people and most of our clients like become our friends. It's extremely rewarding. Like Musa was saying, like, it's, you know, helping people buy a house. Like that's so exciting. So yeah, I was not expecting how rewarding it would be. So keep going because it gets better.
Right on. Mo, what about you? Misconceptions, surprises?
My first misconception was when I first got in, I got my license and just walked in a couple of just looking. I thought it was more like a corporate job because I had always either been the manager or, you know, had always done like corporate management and stuff like that. So there was always a tiered up and you had to be there at this time and leave at this time. All of the freedom that you have as a real estate agent and that, you know, it's like you being an independent contractor versus an employee, you know what I mean? Come and go as you please and stuff like that. I didn't know it was necessarily like that, you know, in this setting. It may be in some real estate settings, but in usually as a, you know, just as a regular real estate agent, you come and go as you please. So the freedom that you have, the freedom that your brokerage gives you after you do all your training and let you out there, that was a misconception. I didn't know that much freedom was there. I guess the you know, the good thing about it is, say, the money. You know, when I got that first check for $5,000, I was like, damn, this is $5,000, you know. And then they gave me another one for $5,000. And I was like, man, I'm in this. I'm doing this. You know what I mean? So I'm just being honest. And you know, real estate agents around Madison, they know this. You know, you selling a house, you know, for 350,000, 400,000, 500,000. You know, your paycheck being 700. I mean, 6Gs, 7Gs, and then when they give it to you, there's no taxes taken out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You have to pay your own taxes, so you get to get your own LLC and take care of your own tax obligations. So they're giving you, you know, the freedom that you get as an independent contractor, you know, versus, you know, what I was as a, you know, like I said, a manager, where you get there and FICA's already gone and, you know, you already got your money put in your 401k, you know, the way you get to handle your wealth and stuff like that, or whatever you earn, you know, as far as commission. That's what it was for me.
Yeah. So first you had to learn how to sell houses, and then you had to learn how to run a business.
Pretty much. And I'm still in the process of learning how to run a business. That's the toughest. The house selling thing is pretty easy now. The running of the business for me is what's getting, I mean, it's an ongoing process.
So unpacking that a little bit, can it be understated the importance of agents plugging in and learning about their taxes and legal entities and things like that early on in the process?
Yeah, for sure. No question about it. You know, for sure. No, in my opinion, yes.
And there are a lot of opportunities. The association regularly puts on events where we'll have accountants come in and speak. Or you can talk to any accountant who really knows what they're doing about this. But that's something that we've heard over the years, is that people are surprised at the fact that they have to manage that stuff. And then it's a whole other animal that they have to learn, because now you're not selling houses. Now you're running the business.
Which is okay too, because I would say, to add one more thing to that, what I had to learn is you got to invest in yourself in this business. I mean, you're not going to make any money in this business unless you invest in yourself. You got to like take some of your commission money or startup money or money from this minority scholarship we're talking about and either pay your dues to the association or, you know, buy some business cards or, you know, whatever you have to do with the scholarship money. That's what it's for. You got to invest in yourself, business cards, you know, whatever your monthly fee to your brokerage is, that sort of thing.
Okay, so just real quick, one of the questions was, could we open that up to all attendees? So just in the interest of time, I think it's a great idea, and we're pretty tight on time here. So does anybody want to kind of unmute themselves really quick and just share any other misconceptions that they may have had, or any other surprises that weren't covered by the panelists here? And then just kind of keep the answer a little brief. We might have got them all. Okay, well, if anybody thinks of anything and they want to put it in the chat box, that'll be fine as well. Before we wrap here, I do want to ask two more questions. One of them is, how has COVID changed your business? So how have you had to adapt, good, bad, or otherwise, since COVID in your business? And then the last question that I think is really important to ask is, what mantra do you have or tool do you have to keep yourself going and motivated when you are not having fun, or when you are tired, or when you are stressed out or beat down on a deal? What do you say to yourself to give yourself a shot in the arm so that you can get back after it and start prospecting again? Anybody who wants that can take that.
Definitely more sensitive to my clients, you know, since COVID, to their needs. I'll be honest. I thought I always was, but since COVID, I'm more sensitive to what the clients needs as far as, you know, being inside their home, their timelines. I know people are working from home, obviously, you know, going in and wearing masks, and, you know, my antennas have gone up about safety for sure, no doubt about it, since COVID. And I think for me personally, just actually calling the clients and actually showing the human side, how you doing, everything going well, how's 2020 going for you, and that sort of thing, sort of, you know, may not be able to point what that very phone call or that email you sent or the text you sent may have done, but it'll turn into business in the future, because you know, you're actually sowing a seed you can about your customers that's going to eventually turn into some sort of business, especially if it's genuine.
That's a great tip. Just a care call, just to check in and let everybody know that you're thinking of them. That kind of goes back to that database thing and maintaining the people in your database. What about a mantra? Do you have anything? Do you have a voice in your head, self-talk, you know, a famous quote, anything to get yourself going if you're down or if you're tired?
You know, early bird get the worm. And you can see in my office, you can see all the pictures of my idols in my office right here that's always looking at me. There's Frederick Eklund right there. You know what I mean? Looking over my shoulder, Michael Jordan. Those are just some things that I do to, you know, for inspiration. And I watch a lot of $1 Million Listing. It's almost, watching $1 Million Listing is like a class in the pros. I mean, that's one thing that really inspired me to even get into real estate. I seen how these guys were doing this, and just watching Josh, Frederick, I mean, really, it's like a class. I mean, like I said, maybe the general public might not see it that way, but if you're a real estate agent, you're going to understand the terms they're talking about, and you're going to see how they're handling these multi-million dollar clients, so you can be able to translate down to whatever level you're doing real estate on.
Was Jordan on that board there? Is that Jordan?
Of course.
The Last Dance, that was incredible.
Crazy.
I recommend everybody watches that. Jordan, you know, call him what you will, lots of ego there. He's the GOAT, and he pushed through an immense amount of adversity to win some of those games. I mean, the mental toughness Jordan had was just incredible. I love that you look at that every day. That's awesome. Ali, Musa, what do you guys got?
So for me personally, you know, like Mo said, in the COVID time, when I'm going out, I make sure I have mask for my clients. I make sure I have gloves. You know, you have to show them that you care and it is real. You actually care, because, you know, explain to them that people are coming to look at this house. Provide gloves for them. A lot of them will bring mask, but they don't think about gloves. So provide that for them. As far as the past clients, like Mo said, calling them and stuff, all my past clients, they become family to me. Before COVID, they invite me to sometimes I can't even make to all of them, you know. So I'm invited to all these parties that because I'm not from here. A lot of these holidays we don't celebrate, but because of my clients, I get to know about all these like Halloweens and all this stuff. I go with my daughter, and they become family. So that is very important. It's not like you sell them a house, then that's it. You send them emails, and there's gonna be some kind of a level of connection with the, with them. So, for example, I sold a couple their condo 3 years ago, and this time they were online clicking stuff. They were talking to some agent, but they said they want me to come and sell them out because the kind of relationship you have with them is very important. So it's not just about the transaction, you know.
And then how do you pick up and get going when you're tired or you're discouraged?
So as far as pick up and tired, you have to see what motivates you. I am from Africa. I have family back home. I am from a third world country. There is a lot of poor people there. There's a lot of people that wake up, they don't know what to eat for lunch or dinner. So in my neighborhood there, so I don't run an NGO, but these people I help out time to time. I send them, I send money to distribute there. So every time I'm tired, I feel like giving up. I said, if I give up, those people, they're gonna suffer. So that's what keep me going every day.
That's pretty incredible. Allie, you want to take us out? How has COVID changed your business? And what's a mantra that keeps you going?
For us, COVID, like things are just, everything is virtual pretty much, except for like showings and listings, I guess. So that's different. And then I guess like mentally, in March, we had like our best year ever last year. And so we had really big goals this year. And in March, April, May, June, and July, we were like slow. And it seemed like everyone else was like, oh, I'm still having my best year ever. So that comparison was really hard. It was really hard that we're not going to meet our goals this year. So I think giving that up and just trusting that our systems and how we treat our clients is going to get us through. And we're doing better now. So that's good. So I think just like mentally, we had to really switch things up. So talking about giving up, and my mantra, whatever, my inner dialogue says, well, you better look for another job. So I will go on Indeed and look for a new job. So that's what I do. And that's not good. So for me, community is really important. So if I'm having a day where I'm not feeling great, or like don't want to do stuff, or feeling overwhelmed, or like I want to look for another job on Indeed, I have a couple agents in my office that I really look up to their business and how they run things. And I know that they will speak life to me. So I will just shoot them an email or give them a call. So that's extremely important because I know my inner dialogue is not positive. So relying on other people's belief in me is super important when I feel like giving up, and knowing that there is hope, and that, you know, I got through eating crackers from the gas station, like we're going to make it through it.
So I love that. So this has been a pretty incredible panel this morning. And thank you all so much for your time. I have like a page of notes. I really think that anybody who watches this is going to take away a ton of value, and you are all clearly leaders in this association. So thank you for your time and your energy, and for spending the morning with us and educating us. And we appreciate you guys. I hope everybody got a lot out of this.
So, okay, before I just want to add a couple of things for the new agents, Joe, if we have a minute. I would say as one thing I learned being new and today is that, you know, when I was new, I go to this networking with agents. And if I have to go back again, I will skip that because I will go network with when you are new. I mean, you will get to know the agents later, but that's not gonna help you with your business right there. Hanging out with with agents, just agents. I will go to networking with where lenders are. Find lenders that you can work with. I mean, people that lenders that will care about your clients, and you know, it's very important in your business. I mean, I cannot stress this enough to find lenders that you can work with. It's very important because they are part of your business. If you refer someone to a lender and they didn't do a good job, it will come back to you. So I would say do that. And then the other thing is to, you know, look up to the top producers in your company. Look up to them, follow them on social media. I mean, if you have to stalk them, that's fine. Follow them, see what they are doing, and then follow their steps. Time to time, you know, just show up in front of them. Let them know that, hey, I am here. Sometimes take them out for lunch. That's gonna be very hard as far as they are busy, but stalk them. Stalk them on social media, see how they are doing business on social media. And you know, when you are new, don't just hang around with newer agents like you. Just don't hang around with new agents, because you will not gain nothing from each other. Hang around with other agents that been in the business. I mean, surround yourself with positive people, because in this business you will need that. I mean, when you get busy, sometimes it can be very stressful. You know, it's no lie. So you want to surround yourself with positive people, people that will bring your good spirit out of you, not bring you down, because you don't need that. Trust me.
Yeah, amen to that. Don't join the pity party, right?
Yes.